Hi, Sam.
Hey, how you doing?
You good? How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Daniel's just said to me he's having trouble getting on, so I'll just wait for him a bit.
Okay.
I might just text Mike and remind him Mike Holt was going to join us today too.
Hey, Sam.
Hey, Pam, how you doing?
Good, thanks. Just checking my audio.
It's working.
Hey.
Yeah.
How's everybody enjoying their 3-day trial of communism?
I'm all right. I'm on the Gold Coast.
Lucky bugger.
Hi, Sam.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
That's good.
Right.
Just waiting for Dan and hopefully Mike Holt was going to join us too.
Okay.
Anyhow,
Is Ben joining us or?
Ben, I haven't seen anything from Ben.
Right.
I should
We had a-
find his phone. What was
On the
that?
Gold-
Sorry?
We had Aussie Patriots meet up yesterday at the Gold Coast.
Yep.
Yeah, there was good turnout.
I saw some
Brisbane
photos.
couldn't go. Did anyone try to go to the Brisbane one, Sam? Did you try and go to that?
No, I didn't bother.
Apparently the gates were locked anyway.
Were they? Okay.
Yeah, they. I got a message that they locked the botanical gardens. The police locked the botanical gardens. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
They're
Okay.
scared. They're scared.
I actually don't really like that venue anyhow. I'd prefer to meet somewhere like King George Square, somewhere like more in the public eye.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
You know, I think that being in the botanical gardens, there we are, they can lock you out or in, right?
Yeah.
So more of a public space, I think, would be better. And I did mention that to some of the organisers, but it was just, you know, oh, we always meet at the botanical gardens. It's like, yeah, true. So anyhow, I chose not to go. We're renovating, so I had other things that I had to do because we're selling, so I have to get ready for selling. So plus to keep the peace under this house, under this roof is priority. Someone's not on the same page as me. Anyhow, so Judith has actually put through, she's not on yet, I thought she would be, put through some questions for the Constitution, which we were going to go through with Daniel today, if he can get on. But I might put some in the chat. In the meantime, would you guys be interested in looking at that? Has anyone done handing out the bylaws at all?
Oh, after my experience yesterday, tell you what.
Yeah, well, I sent that on to Dan.
I've had my life threatened, so I've had to get off Facebook.
True.
Yep.
Why
By
is that?
strangers, by strangers and people I know, because I won't wear a mask.
All right.
Yeah, so yeah, I've had a few people threaten my life. So, and then yesterday I went to the shop and I was refused service, and I said, look, I've got an exemption. I have asthma, and I said I've got an exemption, and the guy wanted to see my exemption. I said, hang on a minute, like the Privacy Act says that you can't ask me that. And then I got harassed by 3 men at the shop. I thought they were going to hit me, so I just took off. And then my neighbour is a cop, and I went and spoke to her about it, and she said, go to the local cop shop and tell them. So I went to the cop shop, and then the cop wanted to arrest me.
For not wearing a mask.
Yeah. So I said, fuck off. And actually, at the time, I was having an asthma attack in front of them. Yeah.
Nothing
So I
like
just said, fuck off.
nothing
And I
like
took
the
off.
stress.
Oh. So we need to do something real soon. We need to send a letter to Anastasia Palaszczuk. That's what we need.
I don't think it would.
Don't think it matter.
Or just to put her on notice.
Oh,
Yeah, right.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, there's a common laws and you're violating them, and we're choosing not to live by maritime law. We're living by common laws.
Yeah.
You know, and that's her nonsense, and we have no authority. And my friend Shelley, I thought she was going to come on today. She tried to cross the border on Sunday, and she had a border pass, but then the police stopped her, and instead of her showing them the border pass, she questioned their authority, so they arrested her. And they just held her at Tweed for an hour and then released her, and now she's got to go to court. But yeah, she pulled out the old common law, you know, I'm a living woman, you've got no authority over me, and then they arrested her. So,
Yeah, well, we have to get more and more people on board. I think it's more of a numbers
yeah,
game.
but
right?
but that's the thing, you know, you mention common laws and people laugh at you. You know, that means nothing. And that's what the cop said to me yesterday. Common law means nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, because they don't know nothing about it. So you
That's
got
right.
to approach it on a different angle. You got to approach it on their side. You got to use their law or their legislation against them.
Yeah, and that's what I was hoping to get at today. Like we need. I'm no good with words. You know, and we need a letter to be able to draft and take to the local police station, or even to send a Palaszczuk.
Yeah,
that's my thoughts anyway.
Yeah.
But when you're talking to them, you just can't. You can't like state a claim. You got to question. You got to go. They're going to question you, so you go back with the question. If you start stating claims, they're not going. They're just going to be all over you. They're not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to make a claim. Oh, I'm with common law. They're not going to take that on. You got to.
Of course.
Different from their side of things. So you got to approach it from as a question back to them.
Yeah.
So it's like
example.
Yeah.
It's complex.
Yeah, it's just it's tricky because it's just the way that it depends on who you get to and what the copper is like, or whether he's a good copper or whether he's a bad guy, or whether, you know, on his attitude. It's a number of things.
Yeah. Look, even my neighbour, the cop I went and spoke to first, she's basically on our side, but she's got a job to perform.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, like Christmas time, she gave me a present, and we hugged in the driveway, and then I said, hey, you can't do this because of COVID, and then we laughed. So she knows it's a scam.
To talk to them is when they're off duty and they're not in the cop station, so to speak. It's like,
Yeah.
Mike says, if you go to the cop station and start poking the bear, you're wasting your time. They're just going to come down on you.
Yeah. Well, that's what they tried to do, and I just got up and left, and the cop threatened to arrest me, and I said, oh, well, you can arrest my straw man. I just kept walking out the door, and he followed me, and then I hopped in the car, and the car I drive isn't registered in my name anyway. So I just hopped in my car, and he raced out after me, and he took a photo of me, and he told me I have to quarantine for 3 days. That's from yesterday, right? So my partner's been on 2 weeks holidays, and he's like, oh, do I have to quarantine? Right? Because he wants to have another day off. And he rang the COVID hotline, and they said, no, you can go to work. You can go. So clearly it's not about a virus.
Oh, no. The virus is a smoke screen.
Yeah.
And the vaccine. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I just looked on the news feed, and Shay, whatever her name is, bloody Jeanette, they got different tests by the looks over the weekend in Brisbane. So 19,000 tests, they're not going to be happy with that. They'll be more tests. So
Yeah.
it's going to go from here. They could say something, they'll try to cook up something, maybe a couple of days, because 19,000 tests, they wouldn't be happy with that.
No.
No way.
No.
So I wait and see. Hopefully not. But yeah.
19,000 idiots.
Yeah.
I can't believe they all line up, you
Yeah.
know, and waste
I
their
know,
day.
that's right. If you think you have a deadly virus, wouldn't you be at home calling an ambulance?
Yeah.
Do
I
you
mean,
think
are you
you'd be
feeling well? I just look at them and go, are you feeling well? You know, like if you're feeling well, chances are you're well, you know.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
I just
Well, if
shake my head.
If it's this contagious, why are you standing in a line?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I just don't get it. I don't understand how people like put that 2 and 2 together and figure out that's what you've got to do.
Yeah. It's just the flu. It's just influenza. You know, you just, you know, have a week off from work and you go back right, you know, or 2 weeks
Yeah.
off. You know, I mean, no big deal.
Yeah. And we, you know, it's a biological weapon and we know that's been distributed. So get angry at that. Get angry at the process of the biological weapon being dispersed throughout the world. Get angry at that. Don't get angry at me. Don't get angry at me for not wearing a face nappy.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Exactly.
Um,
Well, unfortunately, Daniel can't connect for some reason. I don't know what's going on with him. Mike didn't answer his phone. So they were the 2 people that were going to talk today about our constitution. Anyhow.
So yeah, I rang the sheriff number last night or yesterday afternoon when this all happened, and I'm a bit concerned that it took about 3 to 4 hours for me to get a return call. And I thought, you know, like what happens if I'm in a sticky situation and I need help straight away?
Do you have that phone number?
Yeah, I rang that number. Yeah.
And what happened?
Oh, I had to leave a message, and then I got a return call about 3 or 4 hours later.
From who?
Which was fine. And I said, look, I'll be going on this Zoom today and talking about that. But then I thought, well, what if I was in a really sticky situation and I needed help straight away?
Yeah, it's meant to be. They're meant to answer it straight away. Daniel reckons his Gmail is down completely. Okay. Well, guys, I'm sorry about this. I thought that they would be on today.
Oh, well, is it just us?
Well, there's, I think there's 7 people on. John, Pam, there's Aaron. Can't see Aaron or Diane. There's Jenny and Walkabout Bill. None of them have got their cameras on. Aaron's been doing some work sending out the bylaws. He says he's got problems with his audio. Murphy's Law is striking. They don't want us to play. Oh, it's okay, Aaron. He says it's infuriating.
Oh, well. But Aaron can hear us?
Yeah, I think so. So,
Say hi. Yes. Hi, Aaron.
yeah, in the chat.
we have to go to another meeting about 3 o'clock. So,
Okay.
okay. Yeah, I decided just to. I'll just
Hi, Diane.
Hey, Diane. You can unmute yourself and put on your video if you like.
So tomorrow.
And the problem is that, you know, out of all of our people that we have that are registered, the half a dozen that turn up, it's not enough. We need to get more and more people.
Yeah.
To really make a difference here. And then when our sheriffs don't turn up, it's like, what?
Can I just check whether I'm audible?
Yeah, I can hear.
Okay, that's great. So it was absolutely infuriating. I have no idea what's going on there, but at least you can hear me. So
Yeah,
I don't have a webcam set up at the moment. To be honest, I'm a little bit uncomfortable being on camera online in general, but happy to be here with you all. So we're not going to have Michael or Daniel, I take it.
No, I just tried to call Mike and he didn't answer. He did say he'd be on, but and Dan's having trouble connecting.
Right, okay.
Dan.
So I think Pam was mentioning before about putting together a letter of some kind. Have any of you had a look at the Brisbane information pack that's on the CLC website?
The Brisbane which
The Brisbane information pack that's on the CLC website.
information?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Look,
the
if I took that to the police station with me yesterday, they would have just thrown it away. They would have.
Yeah,
They wouldn't
no,
have.
I certainly wouldn't be encouraging anyone to go directly to the police. I don't know if any of you have you actually had a look, had a good read through it?
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's, in general, it makes sense to me. On Friday, I had a day off, so I went on a bit of a rampage and I went around to 59 small businesses and spoke to very briefly either an owner or a manager, and I gave them the pages excluding the advice to the police. I think that could be construed as a bit inflammatory. So, I'm not comfortable handing that out to anyone, but I handed out the initial pages about the Constitution and the bylaw that's been passed about COVID. It was a really interesting experience. I don't know, have any of you actually done that, been around and talked to anyone and handed the information pack out?
Not as yet, I
Yeah.
haven't, but I have. I intend to.
I think that's a really good place to start. I was just fortunate I had Friday off when this declaration came out before 6 p.m. So I was able to get out and speak to a lot of people. My experience was very mixed. Most of the owners and managers just seem to be completely bewildered. They have no idea what's going on. They have no idea what rights they might have, and they're just content to go along with whatever they're being told to do. So it's a bit discouraging on that front. I did have a couple of people who were interested and were enthusiastic in the response, but by and large the response hasn't been very positive. And I think that the main response is a sort of skepticism about who are you, what legitimacy do you have? So that's the obvious, I think, huge initial obstacle that the group faces is having some kind of legitimacy. And I think Sam was saying earlier, it's about numbers. And I think I've just finished Kevin's book. And I think he says pretty much the same thing, that you're only going to gain legitimacy once you have a tipping point of numbers. So I suppose from my point of view, the only logical course of action at the moment is just to get this information pack out and to try and get as many people on board as we can. Whether they want to take any action or not, I honestly would be surprised if many of them do. But to my mind, the first good step is just getting this information out, getting business owners aware that we do have a constitution, we do have rights under that constitution. The government doesn't have carte blanche to shut down businesses and do whatever they like. So that's really my perspective at the moment, is if I can just get this out to as many people as possible. I don't know if you've read Serene Tefahar's letter. That's also, I think, very good, and she's obviously quite an intelligent woman and well versed in the law. So I think that's also a good one to be handing out to people and making them aware of. So that's really, in terms of being able to take action, that's sort of my perspective at the moment. It seems to be all we can do is just get this information out there. I think you're saying, Pam, the response from the police has been extremely negative. I wouldn't personally go to the police directly, even a neighbour, to be honest. I would be, given the current climate, I would be very, very cautious about being in contact with any law enforcement, because their concern, I mean, human beings are self-interested. Their concern is going to be for themselves and their family and to keep their jobs. Unfortunately, that's the way I see it. in these sorts of crisis situations, it's always going to be a case of looking after number one. So I would be very cautious on that front. But if you've read Kevin's book, his basic thrust is that once you have enough people on board and enough people pushing back, that's when things start to change. So that's my hope at the moment, is that, you know, we can start getting an awareness out there and enough pushback to happen.
Are you talking about Kevin in Canada?
Yeah, Kevin Arnett, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay.
It's only a little sort of pamphlet-sized book, which Mike recommends. So I'd recently finished that. It's interesting. Some points I would be a bit skeptical about, but it is very interesting. And they've obviously had some success in Canada getting enough public support. They've got, you know, obviously a number of these assemblies set up. They have a kind of congress whereby all the assemblies coordinate. So that would be great if we can arrange something like that here. It seems like there's quite a bit going on the Sunshine Coast.
Yeah, well, that's where I started, was at the Sunshine Coast, to try and learn about, you know, what we can do, and then decided to start up the Brisbane one. But we do need the people. That's the main thing.
Yes.
John, you wanted to say something?
Me?
John?
I just got a message from Ben. He's just, I sent him a message before about the meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's just trying to get on. So I don't know how, I've sent him the link. He didn't have the link or something.
Well, he would have received the email that, you know, had the link in it, like everyone did.
Yeah, I don't know why he's asking for the link. But anyway, I just sent him the link, so he might come on.
The People's Revolution groups have divided into north, south, east and west. Is anybody on those groups?
No.
I'm not familiar with the group at all.
Yeah, right. So Tricky Tritty's the guy that organises it. Anyway, so he's divided it into that. And I'm on the north side, and I've drawn the north side group, and we're going to have a get together on the 24th. And it's at that point where I'm going to get up and say, you know, we need more people getting involved in common laws. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be it'd be helpful to attend. I don't know if you guys have been to any of the Brisbane Botanical Gardens sort of rallies. I went to the initial one and I had some banners and whatnot. It was good to meet some people, but unfortunately I don't tend to see personally these rallies as being very effective. I think if you have a look at RDA, I'm sure you've seen RDA in Monica.
Yeah.
Yeah. So their approach is very political in terms of lobbying all of their local members. And I know people in the group are very sceptical about the legitimacy of the current government, but that seems to be quite effective for them. And in terms of political leverage, they've gotten thousands of people to email and write physical letters to their local reps. So that is actually applying some real world pressure. But my personal feeling is that you can have as many of these rallies and shout until you're blue in the face as long as you want. It doesn't really apply any pressure, if you know what I mean. I mean, it might raise awareness, but I can't really see it as changing things, unfortunately. I mean, you must have seen what's happened in the States with what happened on the 6th. I mean, all that happened there was that if you want to call them the deep state, were able to take that and use it to their advantage, take the violence. So my concern is that, you know, if these rallies will be infiltrated, there will be violence, it will be used against us. So I don't want to be discouraging, but that's just my feeling, is that you can shout all you want, it's not going to have real world effects until you start getting people on board, business owners agreeing with pushing back against the regulations. I think that's where the real world change will happen. That's my personal feelings.
It just sucks that we're the minority. We're a minority group.
At the moment,
I don't think we are. In terms of the understanding of common law, yes, I think we are. But in terms of opposition to what's happening, no, I don't. I think there's a massive silent majority. It's a question of how to activate them. it's a bit discouraging, the number of people who are willing to just go along with whatever the government says. But I think there is a massive silent majority. The question is, how do you organise? How do you activate them? I think Mike's made a good start here, but it's a big question. I don't know that we have an answer, but that's the question. Is it needs organisation and it needs activating the majority. Obviously, we don't have political representation, and I know you guys are sceptical about the parties' legitimacy of these parties in the first place. I've been looking at A1. Has anyone had a look at A1?
Yeah.
Oh, what is that?
Ricardo Bossi.
Ricardo
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I've been having a look at them. I mean, I think their approach is really interesting. But then the counter argument is that, well, they're just getting back into the dirty game of politics, which is political parties, which is already illegitimate, according to Dick Yardley and Mike. The question is, can you bring it down from inside? I don't know. Hi, Mike.
Hey, my son.
Hey, Mike.
Mike,
How are you all?
Hey, Mike. Thanks for joining us.
Good, thanks. A little bit discouraged at the moment, to be honest, but I guess that's life.
What about discouraged? Why?
Well, I suppose you've just seen what's happened in the States.
I know what's going on.
Well, the so-called attack that happened on the Capitol, it wasn't an attack, but that's what's being called.
Look, this is all a psyop. Don't worry about it. Trump is actually in Texas in a military installation surrounded by special ops. He's safe. And when he says he's looking for an orderly transition, he's not saying to who's going to do the transitioning, and he's going to be transitioning. Don't worry about it.
I've heard these things, but to be honest, I'm very skeptical. I mean, all this QAnon stuff, I'm extremely skeptical about any of that. I mean, I think a lot of predictions have been made, and almost none of them, have eventuated. So I'm of the opinion
don't worry
now
about
that, take everything with a massive grain of salt.
I'm hanging in there until March. I reckon the next 7-8 weeks is going to be shit, but after that, I think it'll be okay. That's all I'm saying. It's going to be a bumpy ride, but just hang on to your hats. Put some butter on your popcorn and keep watching the movie.
The US Navy are heading to Italy, aren't they? Last I heard.
I haven't heard that.
I'm putting a link in the chat room. Go and have a listen to Jeffrey Prather.
Oh, listen
He
to
knows
him
what's
today.
going on. But he's not my only source. I have a few others, including one here in Brisbane, who, funnily enough, is a Grand Master of the Lodge.
Oh,
But he's
really?
not outside. Right?
Okay.
Oh, there's some stress. Don't worry about it too much.
All right.
Look,
Well, we don't have Dan joining
all
us.
this crap.
Sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, with all this crap that the government is doing, all they're doing is just pushing people towards us. So chin up, don't worry. She'll be right, mate.
Yeah, I just don't want to be attacked again. Next time it'll be physical, I reckon.
Tell Mike what happened, because I haven't sent him anything.
Oh, right, yeah. So, Mike, I went to the shop yesterday and I was refused service because I didn't have a mask on. And I don't wear a mask for multiple reasons, and most of them are medical reasons. But the other reason is that I have CS, common sense. And I was refused service, and the guy said to me, I said, I have an exemption. And he said, where's your exemption? And I said, you can't ask me that. There's a Privacy Act. And then, 3 grown men just abused me. So I just dropped everything and walked out the door. And then my neighbour is a cop, and I was talking to her about it. And she said, go to the local cop station and talk to them about it. So I went up to Boondall Police, and then they threatened to arrest me.
Yeah.
And I just said some few colourful words and got up and walked out the door. And then the policeman chased me and then took a photo of me leaving in the car.
Look,
And then told me,
is what happens. This is what happens in communist states. You know, we've let this happen, and now we have to do something to fix it.
yeah.
So did you see the new article I put up on CIR on our website today?
No, not today. No.
It's all about motu proprio. And motu proprio is what's the word he used? It's like an announcement by the Pope Francis. And basically, it's an announcement to all the judicial people, all the government servants, all these people, saying that because they are all under canon law, which is admiralty law, they are directly responsible to the Vatican. And therefore, if you and I submit an affidavit to the Vatican, which I'm in the process of doing right now, they can be extradited to the Vatican and put on trial. Guess who I sent that to today? The link to the article. The federal prosecutor who's trying to charge me.
But isn't the Vatican the bad guys?
Yeah, I would be very
No, not
skeptical
really.
about any Vatican power.
Sorry, Aaron, you've
Who was that?
unmuted. You've muted yourself. There we
I was
go.
just referencing Kevin Annette's book. Well, it's not really a book, it's more of a pamphlet. I just finished his book and he talks about having brought charges against previous Pope for child trafficking, etc., etc. So I would personally be very uncomfortable about sort of delegating power to anyone in the Vatican, to be honest.
We're not delegating power. That power is already there over the judicial and government people, not over us. So if
Right,
we go there
so
under
we're
common
still
law
under-
to the,
Right.
yeah, we're still under common law. As long as we stand up for our rights and freedoms under common law, that's where we stand. But all of these people, because they've separated their system from ours, they are all under canon law, and therefore they're under the Vatican. And
Right,
yeah,
that's interesting.
this Pope Francis, yeah, I'm a lapsed Catholic. I hate Catholicism, and I call myself a spiritual atheist because I still believe in the spirit of the universe, but I don't believe in their gods. So the thing is, though, he's saying much the same thing. He's a good man, and I judge a man by what he says and does, not by what he believes in. Well, no, that didn't come out right. I judge a man by what he does, not by what he says. So from what I've seen, this Pope, by putting out that motu proprio, he's doing a good thing. Go and have a read of it. It's very interesting. So, yeah.
We'll read that.
I'll put the link
I'll put
in the chat to the
Yeah, I'll
article.
put it there if you like.
There you go.
That's it. Yes. So things are happening. Things are very interesting. Things are going on in the background. This is what a lot of people don't realize. Even with Trump, there's a lot of things going on over in America that we're not hearing about. At least we're not being told about. Some of us are hearing about it because we've got good contacts, but for the most part, all you're hearing is the bullshit on the mainstream media. I wouldn't worry about that. That's
I don't
all
watch
lies.
that. I don't watch TV.
I think that
I do. I watch movies.
I heard that the Commonwealth has been dissolved in the UK. And it's also in the States. It's talking about the government's being dissolved or something.
Corporation.
Corporation, sorry.
Yeah, look, right now we're under tremendous change. I talked to my mate Glenn Sinclair, who's into all the astrology and that. I'm not, but he is. And he claims that the stars are all in conjunction now for huge changes over the next few months. And that's what we're seeing. So whether the stars are in conjunction or not, the fact is we're going to see a lot of changes over the next few months. The deep state is not giving up. They're not going away. So it's up to us to keep fighting. Now, somebody wrote to me this morning and said, that the same thing, John. And as I wrote back, who cares? So what? If the Commonwealth collapses, It makes no difference to us. We've already set up our common law assemblies, and those are local governments of the people, by the people, for the people. Now, I keep telling people, once we start getting enough assemblies, we can have a national assembly convention and decide what we want to do and where we want to go. If we want to get back under our Commonwealth of Australia Constitution, because that is actually the bedrock of our law, our common law, then we'll do that. And then considered referendum.
I think that's what Kevin has done in Canada, isn't it, Mike? The Congress, essentially Congress of the Assemblies.
Mike's frozen.
Yeah.
There,
Does
Mike.
anyone know anything about this GSARA thing?
Yeah.
Oh, how will that affect us?
Oh boy.
It's yeah.
Away. Look, firstly, apparently, when they sell our birth certificate or when they start trading our birth certificate, that's based on the value of that birth certificate is based on our lifetime, and depending on our station in life, depends on how much we're worth. Now, someone who's a labourer, their worth may only be $500,000 over a lifetime. Someone who's an executive could be worth billions. So what happens is we have to get back our live birth, and I'm in the process of doing that right now. I had to write to England, to the place where I was born, to get that live birth certificate. I've got a copy of the one that was registered, but I don't have the live birth one. Now, when I get that, what I will do, and I'm going to amend the jot form to do the live birth certificate, I'm going to put a thing on the jot form where you can actually put that live birth certificate number. It's called a QSIP, C-U-S-I-P number. Once you get that QSIP number, you can then go and apply to get your GSARA money, right?
Oh.
So it's complex, and I can't explain it all. I don't even understand it all, but apparently that's what I'm being told. And I'm being told by people who should know what they're talking about. But the thing is, if we're going to get that money, the first thing we have to do is to start standing under common law. And, you know, even on documents, when you sign documents, what side of the document do you sit on?
I sit on the
Anybody know?
Well, it should be on the right because that's the creditor, isn't it? And the debtor's on the left.
left.
That's right.
So because we left justified everything, we're signing on the left because we left justified everything.
No. As long as you divide the page in two and you sign on the right-hand side, it doesn't matter if you left or right justify that. In fact, right justifying just makes it bloody hard to read. But anyone on the left is the debtor.
Yep.
So you always put the person you're writing to on the left column and yourself on the right column. Now, I've done that even with my affidavit. And Peter Horton, the guy who's helping me do all this legal work, because I'm in court at the moment, even he said, oh, you should put your name on the left. I said, no, I'm the creditor. And he went, oh, yeah, so you are. So not even he knows everything.
But in the
So
good
we're
old
learning
days,
together, but it's very
when we used to write letters in the good old days, we used to always, you know, yours faithfully, the name would be on the right-hand side because you'd have your details, your address would be on the right, their address would be on the left, right? But when they changed, they left justified everything, and that's what's put you on the left. But in the good old days, we used to always sign on the right.
Yeah, but you didn't write justify it when you signed on the right anyway.
No, I'm not talking about right justifying. I'm talking about they left justified everything.
Yes,
And you
but
would
even
just
so,
sign,
the page,
you would sign just after where midway through the page was.
yeah, but the page is divided into two basically, and it doesn't matter where the text is justified. It can be central justified.
Well, I'm
left
using the
or
wrong
right.
word. I'm talking about the letter styling, the way that it was styled. It changed when I was at school. We used to always sign on the right-hand side, but in school,
Oh, yeah.
left justified everything, and then that's when it all changed.
Oh, well, that's
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
yeah, well, this is all part of their plan, you see. They
Yeah.
just sneak all this stuff in. Oh, you've got a sign on the left. Then they're making you the debtor. And you didn't even know that, did you? So
I-
this
I
is what
agree.
yeah. Recently found that out, and I have been signing on the right-hand side. Even my emails for my business and stuff, it's tab, tab,
Yeah.
tab, 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 and then it looks really weird, but oh, whatever.
Well, emails are a different thing, but documents, especially those going into their legal system, must be formatted correctly.
Mm.
Now, if you go onto the website and download my affidavit, how many of you have done that so far?
I have started reading the affidavit. I haven't downloaded it. It's bloody big.
Yeah, has to be. Let me just get you the link and I'll show you. Here we go. Right. You can actually download it. There's a download button up the top right, a little download arrow. Just click on that and you can download the whole thing and then put it onto your hard drive. And you can even print it out. It's about 55 pages, but half of that is the annexures, which is all the proof that I provided. Now, what happened was when I put that into the system and the judge confirmed that it's in the system, Peter Horton rang up the federal prosecutor who's trying to prosecute me and said, have you read Mike's affidavit? No. He said, well, you should. And she said, are you threatening me? And started going after him. I'm going to report you. And he said, well, go ahead. I want you to. I'll see you in court. And that stopped her. And she said, why? So they started talking, normally at long last, and he explained the meaning of the affidavit. And basically, what I did, it's a preemptive affidavit. They sent me the charges and said, we'll see you in court in 21 days. So between that time, I submitted an affidavit to the court accusing 9 people of being.
Lost you again, Mike.
Mike,
They're on to us. They're on to us.
Of the Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act.
Oh, you're
Oh,
back
we'll talk
now.
about it later.
We lost you for a bit there, Mike.
Really? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, but we lost you for about, I don't know, 30 seconds.
Okay, where did you hear up to?
The 9 people.
the 9.
The 9 people.
Okay, so I accused the 9 people of being in treason. And so when it came before the court, the first thing I asked was, is this court sitting under clause 5 of the Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act? And the magistrate said, oh, we'll talk about that later, right? So he didn't want to talk about it. So then I said, has my affidavit been entered into the record? So he shuffled some papers. Yes, it's in there. Confirmed that. Good. So then I said, good. Now I'm going to wait for them to rebut. He said, what do you mean? I said, well, I put in the affidavit. Now they have to rebut. Oh, okay. And then they carried on as if nothing was happening. They don't even know their own procedure. So once it was all finished and they said, oh, we'll have another hearing in March, I said, goody, because we
got the goodie.
was to send them a notice of default.
Okay, Mike, we
3
lost
times.
you after you said goody. When they said they're going to have the hearing again in March, and you said goody, and then you cut out.
Oh, okay. So I said goody. Okay. Because after I submitted the affidavit, which was on the 14th of January, they have 28 days to respond. Well, that's tomorrow, right?
Right.
Now, if they haven't responded, so far they haven't responded, then after that, I put in a notice of default saying you've accepted my charges and therefore this case is finished. And I have to do that 3 times because they still won't understand what I'm doing. But on the 3rd time, then I have another little trick up my sleeve, and I will make the magistrate step down. He won't be able to ever practice law again.
Oh,
So got them by the short and curlies.
excellent.
And what I'll be doing, once I've done all this, I'll be teaching everybody how to do it.
Cool.
That's what we need.
Yeah, so I'm already helping one guy up in Harvey Bay do it already. He's started to write his affidavit. He's got a problem with the local council, so I advised him to do that. And we need lots more people to be doing this. The more affidavits that get into the system accusing them of treason, the better. So go and read my affidavit and then start writing your own, but for your own case. Don't use my words. An affidavit must be your words in your thoughts, your actions. Okay? So if you've got a case against the council or the speeding fines or whatever, write the affidavit. You can use the material in my affidavit as a guide and then write your own and then tell them, I want to go to court. And as soon as they summons you to court, that's when you put the affidavit in. So be prepared.
Right.
Okay?
Wouldn't you be trying, Mike?
Huh?
Wouldn't you be trying to avoid not going to court with the paperwork?
No, we want to take them on using their system to destroy them,
Yeah.
right?
Couldn't you
Because
use
I'm actually,
before that?
no, but asking them if the court was sitting under clause 5 of the Constitution, I established myself as sitting in common law. He didn't want to know about it, but it was too late. I already got it into the record. So, and what he didn't know was while I was talking to him, it was like a Zoom call, I was recording the whole Zoom call. So I've got it all on record. I know exactly what they said and did. So we want to be in court. We want to take them on in their courts now. I've been saying stay out of their courts because I didn't know how to do this.
Yeah.
But now I know how to do this. Yeah, let's get into their courts and destroy them.
Mm-hmm.
How do we do that with the government?
Same thing. You don't take a government to court. You take people in the government to court. That's what common law is all about.
Anastasia Palaszczuk would be the one that I write to.
Yeah, well, I'm preparing one for her now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you do that,
So-
we can jump on that bandwagon, can't we?
Yes, I'll be getting lots and lots of people in the assemblies to sign that affidavit. That's all you have to do.
Yeah.
So, you know, I've signed my affidavit and I put my red thumbprint on, but once I start doing this one to take down the government, I want lots and lots of people. I want hundreds of signatures if I can get them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that was the purpose of the My Will letter. You remember the My Will letter?
Yep.
Yeah, well, that was the purpose of that. So we've got all of those people, but unfortunately, we didn't have this process. We didn't understand how to do it. Now we know how to do it. We can get all the people who've signed the My Will letter and get in touch with them and say, look, you've signed the My Will letter. Now here is the affidavit that's actually going to do the job. So, you know, we're just getting our weapons in place.
The ducks in a row. How long do you think it'll take before you have that one ready?
Well, I've got it mostly ready already, but I'm just rewriting the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it shouldn't take more than a month or so.
So maybe by our next meeting.
In between, hopefully, but don't count on it. Don't forget,
No,
I've
that's
still got to
okay.
do all the job
That's
forms.
pretty quick though.
I've got to travel to set up assemblies. Next weekend, I'll be down at Macleay Island in, Macleay Island in Moreton Bay.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'll be down there setting up an assembly. Gympie wants me back. They've got another assembly they want me to go back to. So they're keeping me pretty busy.
And plus we wanted you today.
Sorry?
And we wanted you today. Hello, Judith.
Yes,
Yeah.
last Zoom meet, Daniel was saying he's he's putting a claim into the Queensland government. Is that correct? Would it be on a similar lines as yours, Mike?
I
you
haven't
aware
seen
of
that
that?
one.
Ah,
I'm aware of it, but I haven't seen it yet. I'm going to be
Okay.
talking to him later on.
right.
Because
So could
now-
let's, yeah, go ahead.
well, I was just going to say, now that we know the procedure, I'm helping a lot of people to do this.
Right. So multiple claims could go to the one, like let's say the Queensland government and whatever shit they're doing.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Hmm.
Yeah, the more the better. So multiple
Yeah.
claims, and each claim with many, many people sign a claim.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
John, what's going on down the side of the Gold Coast?
Good. I had an Aussie Patriots meeting yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that.
That was going all around Australia.
Yeah.
Did you hear that? Did you hear of that?
I heard about it. Yeah, I got an email this morning, and I replied and said, well, you had that many people there, you could have signed the charter and convened a common law assembly straight away.
Yeah.
So when
Well,
you go to a meeting where there's more than 12 people, get them to sign the charter and become an assembly.
yeah. Well,
That gives them the...
so we've got another meeting on next Saturday at the Cascade Gardens at Broadbeach, and we're going
Okay,
to
well, that's your chance.
Common Law Assembly.
Excellent.
So I'm
So what you
getting
do there is...
there.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Take your... Have you got a notebook?
Yeah, I got a notebook. Yeah.
And does the venue have internet?
Um,
Park.
it's in a park.
Park.
All right, doesn't matter. Just what's the word where you connect your phone to the internet
Your hotspot.
on your note? Yeah, you hotspot it to your
Yep.
phone, and then you can just go straight on the website and get everybody to sign the charter one at a
Right.
time.
Okay.
Okay. So today I went into I think it was the hang on. How do common law assemblies work on the website, and put in I did. I put in the form there as well. So when you're reading that, I'll put your link here.
John, where's the
So
meeting?
if you're
on
reading
Saturday?
that one,
Can you
Sorry?
put it in the chat?
sorry.
The meeting for next Saturday.
Yeah, can you put it in the chat? I might come down for it.
Oh, okay. I'm not going to be here.
Hey guys, for the next Saturday one, we're not sure that we'll be there, but they've agreed to, in case communication and stuff goes down, the group agreed to meet there every Saturday at 12 o'clock at Cascade Gardens, which is in Broadbeach.
I'll send the thing through. Wait a minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have
We have to go to work. I've got to go to Toowoomba,
for work,
unfortunately.
if we can still travel there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll be there for a fortnight, but there's plenty of other people there.
Yeah, talking of which, how's Brisbane faring under this lockdown? What's happening? Anyone know?
How's what faring? Brisbane.
Brisbane, yeah.
Well, I'm in Brisbane. I'm going all right. I like staying home. Your website is just redirecting to your Red Pill hosting, Mike. Common Law Court.
Really?
Common Law.
That link I just put in.
Oh no, that's okay. No, that's all right. Sorry. I had a typo on there, but I had commonlawaustralia.org instead of commonlawcourt.org, and it's going to the Red Pill. Okay.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, that's-
commonlawaustralia.org goes to your Red Pill.
Is that right? Let me have a look at that.
How about that?
If you put an S in, because if you put common law courts with an S, it goes to another website.
Common Law Australia.org.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. Common Law Australia or Common
Yeah.
Law Court?
No, Common Law Australia.
Common Law Court. No, it just goes, it says, yeah, it doesn't exist, that website.
Well, I get Red Pill, Own Your Power.
Interesting.
And it's
Oh, it did too.
and it's to pick your plan.
It did too. How about that? Oh, that's good. By the way, if you want to buy domains or anything, that's my website. That Red Pill Hosting. Yeah, oh, that's good. I didn't know it did that. How cool.
I logged on to, oh, sorry, I went on to the Kernow website the other day and it came up on my suspicious website. Do I want to proceed?
I told you about that, Mike, remember?
What was that?
The CIR Now website come up as being a suspicious site.
Oh, yeah. I took that pop out. You were using the pop-up, right?
I can't remember, but Pam's just said she went to go there and it did the same thing.
Yeah, if you clicked on the links in the pop-up, for some reason it was treating it as suspicious. I took out the pop-up. It was a waste of time anyway. And annoying. I hate pop-ups.
So do I. So now I sent you an email also. Judith sent some questions on the common law constitution. On the Commonwealth Constitution.
Right.
And Daniel was going to answer them, but he hasn't been able to join us today. So
Well, ask away.
if you,
Can I ask, please, is there just 22 pages for the Constitution or is there more?
Yeah, the basic constitution is very short, about 22 to 25.
Right, because I remember somebody mentioning something, whether it was in the Constitution or not, but that we are free to travel.
Yes,
There's something somewhere that says we are free to travel. Where would that be found?
Section 51.
Oh, okay. Oh, look, legal jargon is just double Dutch to me. I find it very difficult to grasp. Okay, 51, Mike. Okay, thank you. I'll have a look.
Let me have a look and I'll read it out to you.
Oh.
Hang on a second. I've
so
got
did
it
you
here.
get the email with all of Judith's questions, Mike?
Probably not. I haven't. I stopped checking my email this morning about 11 o'clock. Okay, here we are. Part 5, Powers of the Parliament. 51. The Parliament shall, subject to this Constitution, have power to make laws for the peace, order and good government of the Commonwealth with respect to, where are we? Just trying to find out where it is. Hang on a moment.
Currency, banking, exchange.
Yeah. And there are only 22 pages in it.
Right.
Yeah, look, you'll have to read the section down there because there's so many of them. I can't find it offhand. But basically, we have the right to freely move across the state lines. They cannot stop us doing that.
Yep.
And we also have the right. We also have the right to travel freely anywhere as long as we're not doing business without a license. We don't need a license to drive anywhere.
Right.
To travel. Yeah.
Just out of interest, Mike, to your mind, which perhaps is a little more legally orientated, does that make sense to read it like that, or have you got to do a translation as well?
Well, it's written in pretty clear English.
Oh, well, must be me. I'm a real right brain person and, you know.
Yeah, well,
I prefer pictures and music, you see.
Yeah, I know. Section 102, I think. Hang on a moment.
Oh, for what, please?
I'm just having a look here.
Now, when I went to the police station yesterday, the policeman said to me that the Constitution was relevant.
No, they don't follow the Constitution. If you look at section 102, there it is. The Parliament may, by any law with respect to trade or commerce, forbid, as to railways, any preference or discrimination by any state or by any authority constituted under a state, if such preference or discrimination is undue or unreasonable or unjust to any state. Due regard being had to the financial responsibilities incurred by any state in connection with the construction and maintenance of its railways. But no preference or discrimination shall, within the meaning of this section, be taken to be undue and unreasonable or unjust to any state, unless so adjudged by the Interstate Commission. Now, the Interstate Commission is established by section 101 and then 103. Now, what that means is that if you're doing trade or commerce, the Parliament cannot pass laws that forbid you to do so. In other words, you are free to do any trade or commerce across all states without any licensing or, you know, the passports between states. Notice it doesn't say anything about private travel. That's because we have an unfettered right under common law to travel anywhere we wish. We have the right to freedom of movement.
I've heard it called an implied right before rather than an explicit one. Would you agree with that?
Sorry, say that again.
I've heard it called an implied right of free travel rather than an explicit one. Would you agree with that?
Yes, that's correct. And now I read out a whole bunch of rights to an assembly the other day, and somebody said, well, where did they come from? They're implied. That's what we are born with. We are born with the right to freedom of movement, freedom of speech. Nobody can take that right away from you unless you let them. And that's the problem now today. Most people are letting them take that right away.
Including the right to fresh air.
Yeah. So get out of the house, Sam. Do some exercise.
Renovating. I can't get out of the house. Including that people in Brisbane must wear a mask whilst they're travelling inside their vehicle.
Oh.
Just unbelievable. And people are doing it.
I know.
can't believe people
That's
are doing it.
Please, do we
that's
have
the-
to talk about it? Please.
That's the really depressing aspect of the
Please.
compliance that's coming.
Yeah.
Well, it's under the the Constitution. We don't need to, and it is relevant.
No.
Because that's
Sorry,
well,
sorry, Sam.
that's the whole point. That's what it's relevant because we have the implied right to air and right to travel and all that sort of stuff, and that's what they're stopping us from doing.
Right.
Yes.
Now, if you look at the Constitution, section 51, subsection 23A. Now, my Constitution copy doesn't have the amendments, but 23A is that one on the CIR Now website, which states that we have voted in a referendum to allow the government to supply medical and dental, etc., but they cannot force us. Right? So we don't have to accept any of this bullshit.
Mike, is there
Yes.
is there an updated version of this Constitution? The amendments, the 8 amendments?
I've been looking for it. I haven't been able to find one because when Whitlam took our Constitution and made 2 copies of it, I think they stopped printing the original one. But the question was, do you approve of the proposed law for the alteration of the Constitution entitled Constitution Alteration Social Services 1946? And they approved the new section 51, 23A to state the provision of maternity allowances, widows' pensions, child endowment, unemployment, pharmaceutical, sickness and hospital benefits, medical and dental services in brackets, but not so as to authorise any form of civil conscription, benefits to students and family allowances. So if you look at the original one, 23 just says invalid invalid and old age pensions. I always say invalid.
Yeah.
But, you know, they extended that now to all of that other stuff. So it states in the Constitution, but the problem is the police are right. Oh, we don't follow the Constitution because they're private employees of a corporation. They don't serve us.
We have
Yeah,
a look at the
Aaron, your microphone is very blurry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll try and speak up a bit. I know it's not very good. If you have a look at the link I put in the chat there, this Quick and Garran annotated version is referred to by Dick Yardley. So that's on my to buy list, and I think that would be a very good resource to have.
It's actually available for download on the website.
Is it the original version? That's great.
Yeah.
I'll grab that.
Yeah, if you go onto the Common Law website under downloads, you can download the whole thing. It's a big file.
That's great. I'll get hold of that. Thank you.
No worries. So it's actually the second one down. Download the Quick and Garran and Annotated Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act 1901. That's where you will find all the amendments.
I just put the link up there, Mike, on CIR now, the 1946 referendum,
Yeah,
power to medically test.
right.
Yeah.
So when we talk about travelling on the road, just ask yourself this: did your great grandfathers, when they were riding horses, need a license to go anywhere?
No.
Probably not. No.
No, they were travelling on the road, on the paddock, anywhere they wanted to go. The only people that had to have a license were those who had horse and cart who were doing trade. And even then, they didn't really have to have a big license or anything. They just had to register with the government saying, I'm doing trade for tax purposes. I'm not even sure they all paid tax either.
Yeah, well, that's one of Daniel's
I
things.
mean,
He says that tax is voluntary. That's the
Yes,
case.
wouldn't it be
Yeah.
good if he could explain that sometime in detail?
You can stop paying it and then let them come to you and say, why aren't you paying tax?
Oh,
Well, it's
okay.
voluntary.
Yeah, yeah, but
I don't pay
is
tax.
that all you'd say? I don't pay tax because I'm on the age pension. But
Yeah.
I'm thinking of my daughter who's had a bit of a hiccup with the taxing. So she'd just say it's a voluntary thing. What would she use to back that up?
There is something that Daniel
Go to the-
sent about that, and I'm pretty sure it went out to everyone. I'll see if I can find it. It's in the
Yeah, it's in the
Taxation Act.
Taxation Act.
Yeah, it's in the Act
Okay.
itself. Yeah.
If you go onto the CIR Now website and search for ATO, there's also an article there that explains everything.
Okay, thank you.
On which site? CIR Now, is it?
Yeah, I'll find you the link. What is the ATO law? Here's the link in the chat room.
Thanks,
So
Mike.
once you start to study all of this and you learn the law, all of a sudden this all comes clear and they don't have a leg to stand on.
Mm.
But the fact is, they do it because they can get away with it. We've let them get away with it. We've got to stop doing that. We have to challenge them.
Yeah. Thank you for sending the link.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, there was a list that I sent you to your email.
Well, look, I've got them written here. Maybe I've sort of got quite a few, but maybe can I just sort of throw a few out and see what happens?
Sure.
Well, my initial thing to the Constitution, was it fair And initially, was it a fair thing, or was it based on the hierarchy structure that they're pushing now? Does my question make sense?
I don't know exactly what with, but the people who constructed the Constitution were basically landowners. You didn't own land back then before the 1900s. I don't think you could vote, only if you were a landowner, but I'm not 100% sure about that. But definitely it was all the people who are entitled to vote voted on that Constitution. So, yeah,
it was the people who created the Constitution, not because there wasn't really a government in places yet, was there? Is that correct?
Oh, yeah, there were. They had state governments, and each state was a colony. So that each state had a constitution. That's one of the problems. What they've done is they've got rid of the federal constitution, which is the highest law of the land, and they've gone back to their state constitutions, and they're using those state constitutions, which they are now amending like crazy under the Reprints Act, to justify what they're doing. And they're saying, we're not under the Commonwealth of Australia Constitution. They're not. They've got rid of it. But we are. We're all members of the Commonwealth.
Okay. In there it says there's president. Does that mean the Prime Minister?
Where does it say president?
Page 5, 17, section 17, it says president.
You're talking about the president of the Parliament.
So that would be, there's a president of the Parliament. That's not the Prime Minister then?
No.
Okay.
Hang on a minute.
Well, they're talking about the Senate, whereas we don't have that here.
Right.
Yeah. The Senate, section 17, the Senate shall, before proceeding to the dispatch of any other business, choose a senator to be the president of the Senate. And as often as the office of president becomes vacant, the Senate shall again choose a senator to be the president. So the president really is just like the chairman of the meeting.
Yes, yes. Okay.
That's all. He doesn't have any other power.
No, okay.
Sam, I can't find your questions, but that's...
Okay, just a little interesting thing. There was something about them being paid £400. Do you know what that could be today?
£400. The problem is in 1966, they took away our pounds, shillings and pence and brought in American dollars. That was treason.
Right.
See, the Constitution says you're paid in pounds. You can't just change that.
Okay. That's interesting.
Have you watched my little video of how the government destroyed our nation? Have you watched that?
Probably not.
Oh, well, you've got to watch this. There it is, the link, the YouTube link.
Okay. All right.
It's 18 minutes and it explains the 4 major steps they took to destroy our nation. The second one was to take away our money. Now that the Governor General is supposed to be paid £10,000 per year, but in 1960, they took control of the Governor General by putting the Parliament stamp over the Queen's seal. And now they pay the Governor General. So the Governor General now is subordinate to the Parliament. It should be the other way around. The Governor General is above the Parliament, and he then ratifies all acts for the Queen. But they've taken the Queen out. They've got rid of that. They've made the Governor General work for the Parliament. So he's a piece of rubbish.
Well, actually, that's what I picked up as I was reading through there. The Governor General does this, the Governor General does that. And I'm thinking, I've never even heard of the Governor General lately. And I remember one of you guys saying that we don't have a Governor General at the moment. Is that correct?
That's correct. We don't have a lawfully appointed one. We don't have one appointed by the Crown.
Okay.
The Parliament has their own bloody Governor General now and just appoints them.
Yes. Okay. Well, I'm beginning to understand what's going on then. Yes.
Yeah, you watch that video. That's explain it all.
Yeah, all right. Okay.
I just sent it again, Mike. It came through at 1:49 this afternoon for you. Those
What was
questions.
that?
The questions.
Oh.
Yeah,
Hang on a moment,
actually,
let me have-
well, just looking at my questions, right at the end it says, if the Constitution is altered, this is my interpretation, it should be submitted to the electors. Now, is that us?
Yes,
Yeah, right. Yet it has been altered, and and as electors we haven't agreed. Is that correct?
that's right.
Right. Okay.
Sam, your questions just came in just now.
Yeah, that's the second time I sent it, but the first one is at 1:49.
No, didn't
And
get
it
it.
doesn't have questions. It has Brisbane Common Law, something or other.
Yeah, hang on a minute. Let me have a quick look here again.
Anyway, 1:49, doesn't matter. Same questions. We've got it now.
Okay. Yeah, Brisbane Assembly on the 10th.
Yeah,
No,
that
is
one.
that it?
Yeah.
No, that was from Aaron McDonald.
We'll have
I
the
haven't.
same.
I
Doesn't
never got
matter.
it.
You've got it now with the questions. Let's don't worry about
Okay.
woulda, shoulda, coulda.
All right. So this document has page 5. Now you've asked that one.
Yes.
Page
Yes.
6. Racist disqualified. Ever changed to include all? Yes. That was in the. That was amended, but again, they amended their own constitution, not ours. So anything
Who's-
amended after 1973 is their constitution, nothing to do with us.
Because we weren't allowed to vote on it.
That's right.
Right. Okay.
Well, basically what they did in 1960, they took the Governor General out. 1973, Whitlam took the Queen out by amending the Royal Style and Titles Act. And so he made 2 copies of our Constitution, copyrighted them and registered them in the USA to their corporation. So anytime they amend the Constitution now, even with a referendum, it's their Constitution, not ours.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yes. The mind boggles.
Yep. Now, 44, this government
Questions.
is a foreign power. The whole government is a foreign power. It's nothing to do with
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
And as you say, there's a load of rat bags in there.
Mm. Okay. And also there's been a bit of hoo-ha in the past. Look, I don't watch the news, so I don't like to know what goes on in politics, but I do pick up dribs and jabs of it, you know. That a lot of the politicians were charged with having dual, what was it?
Your citizenship.
Dual citizenship. And would that be because of this 44 one that they were starting to talk about it because they couldn't do that?
Yeah, but they misconstrued it.
Oh, okay.
Now, 40, I'm just trying to have a look here. Okay. If you look at section 7 and 24, that states who is eligible to sit in our parliament. In other words,
Yeah.
we have the right to choose our representatives, and it states anyone, I think it's there, I'm pretty sure it's in sections 7 and 24, it states that they're anyone who is a member of the Commonwealth. It doesn't say the Commonwealth of Australia, it says the Commonwealth. So if you were born in South Africa, Rhodesia, Ghana, India, you have an absolute right to sit in our parliament if you are elected. So if you come here and live here in Australia, you have a right to stand for election. How about that?
Well, what's all this carry on they were saying with people having dual citizenship, that it wasn't acceptable?
They're blowing smoke up our asses, excuse
Oh,
my French.
okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's okay, because that's what they're doing. Yes. All right. And then the next thing, takes a fee. I mean, wouldn't that be bribes? Don't they all take bribes? So how could that be exposed?
No. If the Constitution says that they can take a fee, but that fee goes into general revenue. It doesn't go in their pocket.
Oh, okay.
All fees charged must go into general revenue, which is then apportioned by the Parliament to various sections of government. So it gives the money to the ministries, and the ministries then spend that money accordingly.
Okay, well. Well, look, have a glance through those questions and see if there's anything that makes sense, because, you know, I'm not really understanding the gobbledygook of it all.
Yeah, we're 53. Let me look at that. Section 50. Section 53 is all about taxation. I don't know whether that's got anything to do with travel, or are you talking about 51, section 23?
Well, I'm just going on. Ben Carter, Sheriff Ben Carter, mentioned he thought it was section 53, although I haven't actually spoken to him yet, about car rego. So he perhaps didn't get it right. Was it 51 then?
Yeah, I think it is. But as I said,
okay. Yes, you mentioned that before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Excuse me. Me.
That's it.
Oh, I've got a bit of hay fever.
I hope it's not the Rona.
Only Corona in this house is a beer.
I like the way you think.
Yeah. Page 1157, the Governor General may dissolve the Senate House of Reps. Has this happened? Yes, many times. But that's got nothing to do with why there's no independent GG. As I mentioned before, in 1960, the Parliament took the Queen's seal off the letter of appointment and put their own seal over the top. Now, somebody asked me the other day, well, Governor General Kerr sacked Whitlam. He didn't have any more authority than you or I did, because he was paid for by the Parliament. He was paid for by the Liberal Parliament. 59, what's that? Queen disallow ever happened? What's that mean?
The Queen may disallow any law from within 1 year from the Governor General.
Has the Queen ever disallowed anything? There's an opening for that, for the Queen to disallow. No.
Not that I know of.
Okay.
And anyway, it would be down to the Governor General as Queen's representative.
Yes. Well, seeing there's no Governor General. Well, what does the Queen say about us not having the Governor General being paid by her? Nothing.
There was a deputation went over there, I think in 1994 or 2004, I can't remember. And the Queen said to them, look, I can't do anything about your constitutional crisis. The Australian people have to resolve that themselves. And that's why we're setting up these assemblies, because that gives us the power to start amending how this country is run. So by setting up these local governments as, assemblies, our local government now can pass bylaws affecting our community, right? Now, when we get enough assemblies across the country, we can have a national congress of assemblies to start choosing candidates to run for election in Parliament, federal Parliament, and all sorts of things. We can start taking back our government.
Yeah.
Of the people. The people in the assemblies will have the say, not the political parties. So basically, if you want to get rid of them, we just ignore them. We get around them. We ignore them completely and set up our own system. Now, I always mention Gandhi when I'm talking about how just one man can make such a huge change. So if all of us do this, and what did Gandhi do? Because people went to him after he started his campaign and they said, oh, but Sahib, the Raj, the British Raj is all powerful. And he said, so what? It's got nothing to do with us. They're the invaders. We are Indians, and we're going to set up our own national congress. And he set up the National Congress Party. And eventually, look what happened. He got the whole country.
Mm.
So we can do the same thing.
Yes.
The thing too.
I guarantee you one thing, though. I won't be wearing a dhoti, which is the white, and I won't be spinning. Yes, John, you were going to say something.
Yeah, with the documents, like the from the Australian government, they have on the documents at the top, Australian government. It should be the government of the Commonwealth.
That's right.
So that's a fraud right there, start.
Yeah. Have you read this book?
Yeah, mate, I'm sure it's.
Don't worry, the only reason I've read it is because I'm doing the audio book, so I've read every damn page so far up to page 400. But otherwise I wouldn't have read it. But it does say in there quite often that the Australian, anything to do with Australian government, Australian Commonwealth, Queen of Australia, Governor General of Australia, anything to do with Australia is nothing to do with us. It's their corporate government.
Yeah.
Right, next question. Law of the Commonwealth, was that basic stuff like murder, theft and assault, etc.? Well, the law of the Commonwealth is common law. So, you know, we go by common law, and our Constitution doesn't even mention any laws. What it does, it lays out a system of government. We start with the Governor General, the Senate, the House of Representatives, and then what each house is responsible for. So that's what Section 51 is about. Section 51 tells the federal government what they are responsible for. It doesn't tell them what to do, it tells them how to do it. Big difference. Is that clear?
Maybe.
Retire on a pension. Oh, okay. Well, after World War II, they set up a pension fund and everybody agreed to contribute 7% of their wages or salary or the taxes collected on their wages or salary. So 7% of your taxes go into a pension fund. But by the mid-50s, there was so much money in there, like billions and billions of pounds. The government, the greedy government looked at that and said, oh, money, money, money. So they diverted the money out of the pension fund into general revenue. But guess what? They didn't repeal the act requiring us to pay 7% of our taxes into the pension fund. So even today, we are all paying 7% into this pension fund, or 7.5%, I think. It's still going in there and they're stealing the money. You don't have to have, you're not supposed to have a, what's that other thing they've got now for your retirement?
Super.
Super. You don't have to have super. They've got trillions of dollars in that fund. We just have to take it back from them.
Yeah.
So again, a very good reason to get rid of these buggers. A state shall not raise or maintain a military force. Guess what? The states already have. Look at those policemen, armed to the teeth, full armour, armoured cars, guns. Those are a military force.
Yes, that's what I thought. Yes, and they're importing people to be military too, aren't they?
Well, that's what this lockdown 3 days is in Brisbane is all about. They're importing troops now, and we don't know where they're coming from. We think they're from China, but we're not sure. They're flying into the airport right now.
And this is because of that, was it the omnibus that they passed, that bill, to say that once we're in a state of emergency, they can bring in foreign troops to help maintain us, whatever that means, keep the peace.
But what's the state of emergency? There's no state of emergency.
No, there's only a state of stupidity.
laws had to be approved by, well, starting with the Governor General and then the people and everything. Aren't we
Yes.
supposed to
Yeah.
be agreeing?
It's supposed to
Yes,
be
it-
like a year as well for the Queen to
Yes.
come back and say yay or nay.
So
Well-
all that stuff it has no grounds. I mean, I've always believed that, but I'd like to know, you know, the nitty gritty of it. It has no grounds, these so-called, you know, new laws they're making up.
No, they have none at all. What happened is, see, when they made the Constitution, they inserted section 128, which is the last last section. And that
Yeah.
gives only we the people the right to amend the Constitution
Yeah.
voting in a referendum. Only we the people. But the problem is our founding fathers never thought it through properly, because they gave only the power, only the Parliament, the power to start a referendum. Bit different. So we can vote in a referendum to change the Constitution, but we can't start a referendum. That's why that website is called CIR, Citizens Initiated Referendums. CIR now. We all want CIR, because once we have that, we can initiate a referendum. And that's why I keep saying, once we get the assemblies going and we have the National Congress and set up our own Parliament, the first referendum I will put to the people is amend section 128 to give the people the right to CIR. And then we can have a series of carefully considered referendums to start amending the Constitution to fit our modern day reality. If we don't do that, we're screwed. Yeah. So, yes, John. Unmute.
Yeah, sorry guys, I've got to go.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for everyone coming along.
No worries, I've got to go too. I think we've covered most of the questions.
Hopefully we can do it next couple of weeks or something or whatever.
Yeah, next weekend, don't forget, I'll be down Macleay Island, so I won't be available, but I'm looking forward to that. I'm actually going to have a bit of a holiday while I'm there. My wife and I have been invited down for 3 days, so looking forward to that.
That's great.
And, yeah, I've never been there. I've been out to Tangalooma, but never to Macleay. And apparently some of the other islands are coming over to the meeting as well. So that whole area there might become a hotbed of common law. Yeah.
Thank you very much for joining us, Mike, because you sort of saved us.
Thanks, Mike.
My pleasure.
See you
Thanks,
later.
guys.
See you later.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you. Bye now.
Thanks, everyone.
We should have a meeting. Let me see if we can drum up more people on the 24th at this other meeting. So the Northside people. Let me see if we can drum up more people and we'll have a meeting after that. What do you think?
You said something about the 24th, sorry. You're breaking up a bit, Pam.
Yeah. The People's Revolution group on the north side are having a get together, and I'm going to try and get those people involved in the common law stuff.
Yeah,
So,
where is that meeting?
24th.
Where?
Sandgate, I think. No, Brighton.
At the park?
Yeah. I'll send you an email. Let you know where it is.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, your sound's really bad, Pam.
All
I
right.
don't know what's going on.
Yeah. So I might get off.
Yeah, no worries. I'll send the recording to the attendees about that. So everyone who attended will get the recording.
Yeah, Pam. I think I might head off now as well. Good to meet everyone.
Yeah, that's it. We're going to call it. Thanks very
Yeah,
much.
hopefully catch you again next weekend. Hey guys.
Yeah, thanks, Aaron.
Bye-bye.
I'm going to get off.
Yeah, that's okay. Thanks,
See you guys.
Pam. See ya. Judith, were you good with all the answers today?
Oh, well, yeah. Look, it helps a little bit. I mean, even if he went into massive detail with everything, it'd probably go in one ear and out the other. We need to, I need to digest it slowly, just have it, expand it a little bit at a time. So, and then of course, you know, a little bit of extra goes thrown in and a video to watch and that sort of thing. So yes, an incredible amount to learn, isn't there?
There sure is. Just
How
taking
did you
it
go
steps.
reading the Constitution?
I'm
Did
still
you get
struggling
through it?
getting through it. Yeah. So
Yes.
there's a lot to it.
Yes.
But it's good
Yeah.
to have someone like Mike to explain it as well.
What happened to Daniel? What
I had no idea. He tried to get on. He said he couldn't connect with his phone or his laptop or anything. So I don't know.
Right.
And also Ben
Right.
was meant to join us, but he obviously couldn't get on either. So I'm not sure, but Zoom's probably not ideal anyhow. So I'll
No.
come up with
No.
a solution.
Actually, look, can I just say here that, I mean, I know it's a voluntary thing, the sheriffs, but, you know, I remember when I'm wanting to do my claim and Daniel said, oh, send something to me. And I haven't had any response back from him, one prompt. And the same with Ben. I was talking to him about the car rego and license thing. And he says, oh, I'll get back to you. You know, that was about 2 weeks ago. And I've given him a prompt.
Yeah.
And I don't know, where are we going to get our information from, or our little bit of support while we get going?
Well, I think that, I mean, we need to use that website. So if they can send information onto that website, so the tax stuff is on there that Mike sent the link. And obviously the Annotated Constitution is on there. I didn't realise that. There's a lot of information on there. So if you go through that website, you'll be able to probably get a lot of questions answered because there's a lot of information on there.
Yeah. Okay. And those other two, I'm catching up with Shane from the Sunshine Coast, who's the registrar there, and he's going to help me with my claim. But I sent you an email. I hope you got it, because he'd like to get an educational thing going for the court officers, like the registrar, the adjudicator, and the recorder. So 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago or something.
To the Brisbane?
No, well, that's what I wonder. I thought I was very careful in sending it to you, but well, look, tell me right now what your email is. Maybe I got it confused with the other.
Yeah, you send it to, well, I've got the common law email, which is Brisbane CLC at Proton Mail.
Is that you?
Yep.
Oh, right. Okay. Okay.
And Daniel is BNE CLC.
Yes.
At Proton Mail.
BNC.
BNE.
BNE.
Yeah, for Brisbane.
It's short for Brisbane.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So does the Brisbane Assembly have an adjudicator and a recorder? Did we elect anybody?
I'll have to check the minutes. I think we filled most of the positions on that.
Oh, well, I could go back and check the minutes too then.
Yeah, because we had all the positions listed on there.
Okay, because that's a good idea to have an educational thing on it, isn't it? Yeah,
well, that's kind of what Daniel wanted to do too, but he has to attend the course. So.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Well, I guess if Shane's willing to do it, and seeing I was talking, because as registrar, I can't put a claim in myself. It's going to have to go through, say, somebody like Shane, isn't it? Another registrar.
It needs to go through another registrar. Yeah, that's right.
Yes. Yes.
So,
well, I guess that's
you are the
Shane's.
registrar for Brisbane.
Sorry, say that again.
You are the registrar for Brisbane.
Yes, but so I can't do that.
To,
that's why Shane's willing to help.
Yeah, because there's perceived conflict of interest there.
Yes, of course. Yes.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right. Okay, well, I'll check those. And are we having another meet soon? This Zoom thing's not very successful, is it?
Well, at the moment, the only reason was because Daniel wanted to present information, you know, from the computer. And how do we do that in a hall or at the park.
Yes.
Like that's just,
Yeah.
and that's the education.
Unless
side of things.
there was a bigger screen. We had a bigger screen. You could do a PowerPoint thing or something.
Yeah, true. Anyway, it's not ideal, and I know that.
No.
We don't have a venue to meet, like a hall or anything as yet.
Well, of course, it was a very intuitive move for today because we wouldn't have been able to meet. Well, we could have.
Well, we could
But,
have. We
you
may
know,
have
a lot
got
of
arrested.
people- Sorry?
We could have.
What?
We may have got arrested.
Oh, ridiculous. So
And-
what do you think the motive is? Is it now the Queensland's turn to have the screws tightened? What do you think is going
There'll
on?
be something's happening that they don't want people on the street to know. And Mike alluded to the foreign troops coming in.
Yes.
So that could be it.
Yes.
Nobody knows.
Wow.
There'll be a reason. It's like they say.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, that of course there's a reason.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, but like I said, it's going to be a bumpy 7 weeks. They're going to.
Why are you saying?
I just think that it's going to be a couple of months before things settle down.
Mm,
So I just tell everyone just to hang in there.
yes.
I'm just reading Diane, yet for sure confident regarding Trump as he passed a bill in 2018 protecting against foreign election interference. Well, yes, he did. And I just saw this thing come in too from Lynn Wood on Parler saying that Apple, if you have an iPhone, turn off your auto updates because Apple are going to put a software update which will prevent the emergency broadcast system, which is what apparently Trump was going to use to announce
Oh, right.
everything.
Yes.
But it's a global thing, so it's us as well.
Yes.
But anyway,
Yes. Mm.
see what happens.
Yeah, there was something out about WhatsApp. I've gone and deleted WhatsApp. You know, that there's going to be some clause in there now that your details from WhatsApp can automatically go over to Facebook or something. I could have that all wrong, but there was some connection. That the warning was that whatever's on WhatsApp from a certain date will automatically go over to Facebook, you know, like as data collection.
Yeah.
So, you know, I've just deleted the WhatsApp thing and friends, you know, that we can connect on Telegram.
Yeah, Telegram's good. All right.
Yes.
Well, I'll wrap up for today. And,
Yes. All right. Thank you. Who's Yvonne? Are you there?
He's still here.
Yvonne?
Diane.
Yep, I'm here.
There we go.
Ah, great. Have you been to the meet in the park? Have we met you?
Yeah, he's one of the elected officials like yourself.
Oh, good.
What's your title, Yvonne?
I'm the bailiff.
There we are.
Great. Oh, good. Pleased to meet you. I like your icon here. I have a similar, I don't know whether that's a male or a female, but I have a similar female one up on my wall. She's got a sword like that in one hand, but flowers in the other. So
Oh.
I thought, oh, that's good.
That's tantric marriage, so it's actually meant to be the sacred
Oh.
union between masculine and feminine.
Okay, yes, well, I'm all for that, but within myself, the masculine, the feminine, married within myself.
Yeah,
Is
exactly.
for me. And then, of course, we don't need a partner. We don't need, meaning, you know, we can have one, you know, if the masculine and the feminine's working properly within us. Yes. Okay.
Okay, so what were you saying, Yvonne? Yes, also Russell J. Gould. What was that about?
Well, I've been looking into the quantum syntax grammar because it's become apparent to me that over the last 8,500 years on the planet, they've used fraudulent conveyance of grammar. So all of the founding documents have actually been written in Babel. So if you actually look at the mathematic precision behind the use of adverbs, adjectives, nouns, etc., and you relate that to how language should be portrayed in a mathematical way, you actually find that none of the documents actually mean anything because it's all bullshit.
Yeah.
So there's a guy in America, Russell J. Gould,
Yeah, I
and
know
he
him.
has taken,
David Wynne-Miller was his partner, but he died.
yeah, and David Wynne-Miller was a Mason, and he was setting people up, but Russell was actually the good one of the two, and he's
the Postmaster
taking
General,
control.
right?
Sorry.
He's
The Postmaster General for the world.
Yeah.
And he's also the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court in the US, and also a whole bunch of other titles, including like majestic clearance and all these sort of things. But he's redone all the postal treaties for the entire planet. And so he's actually set up a flag treaty for Australia. He's captured the Australian flags. So he's done a lot of work. I mean, I could go on for a while, but, you know, I've been sort of looking into that because, you know, I missed out on the 40 minutes of the start of this, unfortunately. I was really wanting to hear what sort of Mike was talking about with the affidavit, because, you know, Russell talks about the postal mechanics and how all the governments in the world and all the legislation, all that sort of stuff, it's actually based on the postal system. So it's very interesting stuff. It's just, but it's another layer. I don't really want to blow people's minds anymore.
Yeah.
I've skimmed over that too, Yvonne. Very interesting.
Yeah. So I'm a part of a group in Australia called Life Force Australia, and we're kind of trying to sort of like mesh that in and, you know, create new founding documents that we can all sort of unite under. Because the concern that we have is that the common law kind of stuff brings you back under the crown. And we don't really want that situation given the fraudulent conveyance of grammar and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, interesting times.
What was the name of the group, Yvonne?
So Kimberly Ann Gogan is in America, and she has set up what she calls Life Force.
Yes.
And I'm part of a group in Australia that are basically, you know, setting up the Australian version of it. We're still kind of, you know, trying to set it up at the moment. But
this is the quantum financial system.
Well, there's a whole bunch of different quantum financial systems, because basically what Kimberly's done is she seems to have an AI system that controls all of the assets and maps out all of the treaties and all this sort of stuff. It's like an intelligence platform. So, yeah, she's kind of been doing a lot of work in the background, and we're trying to get sort of a read on the situation as to how she relates into Russell Gould. But, you know, they're very busy people because, you know, they're doing a lot.
Yeah,
But
I thought she was like the caretaker of the new system and unraveling of the old system.
yeah, so she set up what they call KIMS, which is the Key Integrated Monetary System. There's also a number of other systems like the military system, Key Integrated Military System. So she's been doing that on like the sort of AI back end. And, you know, she even goes and deals with the Council of Nine. So you're talking about off-world sort of galactics, you know, if you want to believe in or get into that sort of stuff. But see, the way I sort of see it is you've got this sort of left brain archetype of, you know, the masculine, which is basically what Russell J. Gould is doing. And then you've got the sort of right brain archetype, which is what Kimberly's doing. And, you know, I'm really trying to figure out how that unifies together because, you know, as a collective, we need to really work together on this because, you know, we've obviously been under Luciferian control for a very long time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and they're not having any of it anymore.
Is Russell, do you want to repeat yourself, Sam?
No, it's okay. You go ahead. Russell J. Gould.
Russell J. Gould, is he in Australia or US?
He's American.
Washington.
Okay, he's US as well as Kimberly. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah,
But
she's apparently in some kind of diplomatic zone where she's immune. Like, you know, the John Wick movie where they have that hotel and it's got all those sort of diplomatic immunity rules inside. She's basically in a situation like that, apparently.
Okay. But did I hear you say that there's something in Australia you're connecting with to
Yes.
to
We've got a Discord platform. If you look at Kimberly's stuff, she's put out a social media platform for the world.
okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So there's like websites like United Network .solutions or unitednetwork.cc. There's UNN.today.
Yeah.
So they're putting out like news channels as well.
Okay.
And they've got a number of apps as well. They've actually sort of superseded Netflix as well. They've got their own, you can watch basically all the world's television stations are on there. There's like 30,000 films and
Oh.
series and that. And it's very reasonable too.
Where do you find access to that, Yvonne?
So unitednetwork.solutions.
Okay.
And there's a Discord channel as well that was sort of set up. We're kind of in the preliminary stages of that. We're really wanting to set up assemblies across the country, to form new sovereign self-governance.
Yeah.
Because we need to go back to individual sovereignty.
Well, we are sovereign. We've just forgotten about it.
Well, yeah, and unfortunately, you've got the army of police that think that they are the authority.
Yeah, it's all. Sometimes it gets a bit much too, doesn't it? Trying to understand it all. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to wrap up now. So thanks very much for attending.
Thanks, Sam.
And the next meeting, well, I was going to make it the first Sunday of the month because that was one of the things that I heard that we should be doing for the common law. So that's in 3 weeks' time. I'll put it. Is anyone objecting to that?
That's fine.
Make it first Sunday of the month.
Yes.
As often as we can.
Mm.
That'll be 3 weeks. All right. Well, I'll do that. That's going to be the 6th of February.
Okay.
So that's about right.
If we could meet together in person, I think we've got a lot. Our energies sort of combine better than on a Zoom thing.
Yeah. Well, we need to find the venue. Find us a venue.
Oh, well, got the impression you were narrowing something down? No.
I have been making inquiries for the Windsor School of Arts. They've got a hall there, and I thought that might be good. Daniel was looking at New Farm, but he then said that wasn't going to happen. Yeah, I've had an offer of, travelling out to Whoop to have a meeting, but that's just not, we need to have
to be a little bit central, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No.
Where do you live, Yvonne?
I'm out near Laidley.
Oh, which is where?
Sort of on the way to Toowoomba between Ipswich and Toowoomba.
Okay. Right.
So yeah, probably this venue would suit you, Yvonne. Just trying to find this venue at Palmerston Indoor Arena, which is on the Warrego Highway, just off the Warrego Highway or the Cunningham Highway. This fellow has offered his property as at Walloon.
Oh, Walloon, yeah, that's close to me. That's good.
Yeah. So
could you get there by public transport, or you'd have to drive?
I'd drive. There's no, the train station here doesn't actually have a public facility to board. It stops at Rosewood.
Oh, well, that wouldn't suit me. I mean, I've got a car, but I don't drive through the city. I wouldn't be driving that far.
Yeah,
to get public transport to the city. The inner city suits me well.
Yeah, I don't know where this guy's property is, but there is a train station at Walloon.
Yeah, he says he's got an indoor riding arena, so he can stay undercover parking on hot or wet days. So plenty of chairs and that, but I think it's a bit far for a lot of people to get out there.
Yeah.
All right, stay tuned. I'll be sending out an email soon.
At New Farm there's a croquet club or something. That I think they've got a hall. There's a couple of little halls there. I don't know whether they've been looked into actually at the park there.
Okay, we'll find out some info and let us know.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
Yeah. Whether they're available, I don't know, but that was sort of something that I thought, that there are some little halls there. Okay, thanks, Sam.
All right, no
Bye,
worries, guys.
Yvonne. Bye, Diane.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.